14 a game.
Look, Safi can create her own shot, and she is a force for her team. Her ability to score on all three levels and bring toughness to both ends of the floor is what makes her special.
And we are underway here inside Rose Hill Gymnasium, and the Fordham Rams, who have been a bit plagued by turnovers in the early portion of this season, turn the ball over on their first possession. Amy Hayford called for a travel. Here's Georgian Court's first possession. Kalibo misses a three. McGurk quickly ahead to Matilda Flood. Both of these teams like to play up-tempo basketball. The starting five for the Rams: Taya Davis, Mandy McGurk, Aminat Ali, Amy Hayford, and Matilda Flood. Hayford off the Lee screen, can't get it to go off the window. It'll stay with Georgian Court.
As we can see already, both teams are pushing the ball up the floor, and part of that comes from turning it over. When you're pushing it that fast, you're going to expect some turnovers during the game.
This is a young Georgian Court roster. As Adona mentioned, all five starters are freshmen, and the Rainbow Three drops for Niall McCargo. Georgian Court on the board first.
We see Georgian Court in a 3-2 zone here.
This Fordham team shooting just 22% from beyond the arc to start this season. Hayford, three ball, corner pocket.
Great driving kick by Matilda Flood. She sees the defense collapsing and kicks it out to Hayford for a knockdown.
Amy Hayford got into foul trouble against Manhattan, and the Rams weren't able to get into much of a flow offensively. They were without Taylor Donaldson in that game against the Jaspers, and she is unavailable again tonight. Taya Davis knocked that ball away. Georgian Court retains possession, but they've got three to shoot, one to shoot, and it's a shot clock violation. Nice defensive possession there from the Rams.
And Grant, you mentioned them being without Taylor Donaldson. It's going to be really important to see some roles emerge here tonight.
McGurk, pull-up J is true.
Great read by McGurk there. Seeing the defense drop, she pulls up for a mid-range jumper.
Manny McGurk, the grad transfer from Penn, one of four transfers in this starting lineup for Fordham. There's another three ball from the corner, and Julia Wesper rims out. McGurk again will try from the foul line, gets her own rebound, and puts it in.
Great crash by McGurk there.
Wesper into the lane, out to Kalibo. Pull-up jumper, rebounded by Davis. Davis, nice feed to Lee. And a timeout is called by Georgian Court.
Great drive by Davis there. She's someone who can create for herself, but also will find the open teammate.
It was Georgian Court who struck first, but then Fordham with 9 unanswered, 4 of which have come from Andy McGurk. Do you like the timeout here from Coach Perazic for Georgian Court?
Definitely, because I think she sees that her team is a little frazzled right now. So a timeout in this situation is going to help calm them down and go back to the basics, which is playing with composure and poise.
Now, for those of you who don't know much about Georgian Court University, do not fret. That's why Adona and I are here. They're a small school in New Jersey at the Division II level. They compete in the Central Atlantic Athletic Conference, the CACC. Their head coach is Jazz Perazic. She's in her 10th season leading Georgian Court, and she has a phenomenal resume. She's a former 3-time ACC champ as a player at the University of Maryland, where she was named ACC Tournament MVP in 1983. In fact, her number 4 jersey has been retired by the Terrapins. Native of Serbia, she played with the Yugoslavian national team in 2 different Olympic Games. She was a member of the New York Liberty back in 1997, and she's really engineered a turnaround of sorts at Georgian Court. They've been to the postseason in the CACC in 3 consecutive years, 4 out of the last 5 seasons.
Yeah, Grant, and one of the things she talked about is her strength being player development. You know, she knows she has a young team, but she says they're really coachable and they have a ton of talent. So it's just going to take some time getting better and getting used to each other, as you know, when you're this early in the season.
And, you know, the complexions of these 2 rosters are very different, but the situations are similar, right? 5 freshmen starting for Georgian Court. So as you mentioned, it's going to take some time to develop a rhythm, develop a flow. But for Fordham, 4 of their starters, they're not freshmen, but it's their first seasons here at Fordham. So they're also trying to develop some chemistry on the Rams sideline as well.
Exactly, and when you are starting freshman, it's a big jump from high school to college. I mean, the margin for error becomes so small, and there's things that you get away with in high school you can't necessarily get away with at the college level. So I think it's a learning point from the players, but also as a team.
6:51 to play in this first quarter. Fordham 2-2 on the season. I mentioned they won their first 2 games in this building against Adelphi and Albany, but have dropped 2 in a row against a really talented Miami team, and then in a rivalry contest against Manhattan this past Thursday. Georgian Court still looking for win number 1 on the season as both teams break the huddle, set to resume play, and it looks like some full court pressure being brought out by the Rams. Kalibo is trapped, has to get rid of it, and the Rams force a turnover out of the timeout.
And that's something Georgian Court is going to have to do, is when they're being pressed, in those situations you have to stay as calm as possible and get the ball to the middle. You cannot go up the sideline, because the goal is the press is to trap up the sideline.
Substitution for Fordham. Kayla Berry is on the floor, and Aminat Ali took a hit. She'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Great drive by Hayford, but what I want to point out is Lee rolling to the basket so hard. If your post is rolling that hard, you have to get them the ball.
Aminat Ali connects on the first foul shot. Again, 10 points and 12 rebounds last time out for Lee, who's a transfer from Cleveland State. Hits both. She also has experience playing with the Senegalese national team this past summer. She's a disruptor on defense, but her offensive game starting to come into shape as well. Hayford pestering McCargo and forces the turnover. The Fordham defense looking sharp early on.
And for Coach Bridget, she says they're supposed to force contested threes, and they've been allowing those open threes. So those are their principles, is when knowing to shift and rotate on the defensive end.
Miranda Nyborg checks in place of Lee. Davis in attack mode, and she draws the foul.
We see Davis initiate that contact. Great drive by her.
Taya Davis, her first season here in the Bronx, transfer from Garden City Community College. Coach Mitchell told us she plays with an edge and is a team-first player. She's the floor general for Fordham, at least one of them, and is selfless with the ball in her hands, as we see the Rams, with a 10-point lead, set up some pressure. Excuse me, Donna.
And look, without Taylor Donaldson, Davis has had to step up, and those are when the opportunity's knocking. This is a moment for her to step up and showcase what she can do.
Baseline out of bounds play after the foul call against the Rams. We've got a sub coming on for the Lions. Marta Aguilera steps off. And Leah Snisky enters. And now Wesper comes off in place of Carissa Smedley. Trying to get it to Kalibo. They're unable to. McCarr goes long on the pull-up, but Georgian Court has another opportunity. Fadeaway jumper off the front iron. Rebound corralled by Kayla Berry. Nyborg. Berry was working hard on the offensive glass, but stepped out of bounds.
It's a great hustle play by Berry, and she knows her role. Her role is to go after every single rebound.
Kayla Berry, just a sophomore, did not play much in her freshman campaign, but gave Coach Mitchell some really nice minutes off the bench against Manhattan. Her best game in a Fordham uniform. She dropped 5 points and 5 boards. She's late on the closeout there, but Kalibo comes up empty. Davis pushing the pace. McGurk drills the three.
Great pitch by Davis. She drives and draws the defense and kicks it out for a three.
And it's a quick 13-point lead for the Rams. There's the kick out. Smedley well short, but last touch by McGurk.
And something Coach Perzic said to both of us is having better shot selection. You know, lately right now, as we've been seeing, is they've been taking some quick shots.
Both teams having some jersey troubles. They're sorted out. And Smedley is called for the carry. Georgian Court, turnovers have been an issue. They averaged just under 20 turnovers per game through their first three, and we see some early turnover troubles in this one as well, as Fordham gives it right back. And they're a team that they've turned the ball over more than 20 times in 3 of their 4 games coming into tonight.
That's something they're going to have to limit if they want to stay in this game.
Amy Hayford called for the reach in.
For Fordham, you know, against Manhattan, they had 24 fouls. All 4 players in foul trouble, that being Lee, Hayford, Davis, and Flood fouling out. Fordham's going to have to play defense without fouling.
Aguilera is double teamed and lost it. McGurk to Berry, and Aguilera is called for the foul.
Berry sees the opportunity, and she drives to the basket hard.
Kayla Berry, 2 of 3 from the charity stripe on the season. Hits the first to make it a 14-point game. Fordham currently 5 of 8 shooting from the field, 2 of 2 from long distance.
You know, Grant, as we've seen, Fordham has been scoring in the paint, and, you know, Georgian Court lacks a little bit of size, so it'll be interesting to see how they continue to match up against a team who scores 54 points per game, but on average, 32 of those come from the paint for Fordham.
Notable size advantage for the Rams. Hayford came up empty on her 3-point attempt. Now the Lions end the scoring drought. It's Aguilera.
playing that up-paced tempo that we've been seeing so far.
That ends a scoreless streak of over 5 minutes for the Lions. Here's Cassidy Mahaney off the window.
She banks it in. Last game, Fordham only attempted 5 threes, so now this game we're seeing them utilize the three-point play a lot more.
And that's Amy Hayford, who picks up her second foul in the first quarter. And that's not a great sign for this Fordham team. Again, last game against Manhattan, Hayford got into foul trouble, and she's the leading scorer for this Fordham team, who, again, are without their number 2 scoring option, Taylor Donaldson. We saw Fordham unable to get into a rhythm offensively last time out. Hayford but stay with the Rams. And that's a great point you bring up, Adona. Those 5 attempts against Manhattan from long distance, they were taking double-digit attempts in the 3 games prior to that. Mahaney, another one. Yes.
Listen, we have not seen Mahaney play much, and she is taking advantage of that opportunity, one of their best players being in foul trouble. She knows she has to step up.
Mahaney is a freshman for Fordham, native of Frederick, Maryland. Aguilera blocked by Lee.
Great timing there by Lee.
Lee with the interception to Flood, who was late on the give back. But again, it'll stay with Fordham. And that was a tough turnover for Georgian Court on the baseline out of bounds play. Not sure who Sniski was trying to go with it there, but ended up right in the arms of Lee. Fordham trying to build on what's been an 18-point lead now with 2 minutes to play. Davis gliding through and a 3-second violation against Fordham.
Well, that would have been a nice driving kick. Fordham still keeping up with the press here.
Davis got the tip.
What I love about Davis is she's so aggressive on the defensive end. She's gonna make you uncomfortable.
Leads this team in steals this season. It's a great defensive team for Fordham, averaging double-digit steals on the year. Georgian Court still in his own defense as we approach 90 seconds to play in this opening quarter. Matilda Flood to Mahaney. They work it around the arc, but Taya Davis with some happy feet. Kalibo gets on the board.
That's a tough shot, and one of the things Fordham wanted to do is they know Georgian Court can shoot the 3 or drive to the basket, so you want to make them do something else, and in that case, Kalibo just made that mid-range jumper.
She's now 1 for 4 shooting in this opening quarter, again averaging 19 a game through the first 3 of the season. Nice find from Mahaney to Lee. Flood cleans up the offensive glass. Mahaney wants another. Give her all 3.
Mahaney is feeling it. You've got to keep feeding her the ball.
And she is now the leading scorer in this game with 9 points. It's a 26-7 Fordham lead and another Lions turnover.
You know, Georgian Court here in this case has to contest that 3. You know, she's knocked down a few now, so they're going to have to put their hand up.
10-second difference between shot and game clock here. Now 15 seconds to shoot for Fordham. They get into their offense. Skip pass to Davis.
Tough passing angle there.
That was last touch by the number 5 of Jugadoras Edwards, who has come onto the floor for Georgian court. Flood baseline drive. Up top, McGurk. Tough rebound. Hauled in by Snisky. Kalibo with 7 seconds. Left her feet. Not sure if she thought she had less time, but now 4.4 on the clock for the Lions. And a foul called for Davis, who is a bit overzealous trying to win possession back.
Sometimes being overly aggressive can cause those fouls as well.
2 seconds for Georgian court. It's tipped by Snisky. She's got to toss it up, and that standout Idona Thacke. I'm Grant Delvecchio, and Idona, really a dream start for Fordham in that first quarter.
Definitely, and I think their defense has been so overwhelming for Georgian court here.
The Lions had 8 turnovers in that first quarter. See, Fordham has gone to a zone defense to start this second quarter. There's a misfire from 3 from Jugadoras Edwards. Fordham 8 of 14 shooting from the floor, 57%, and 5 of 7 from downtown. Again, they attempted 5 total threes against Manhattan on Thursday. They have 5 3-point makes through one quarter tonight. McGurk, pull-up jumper. Off the back iron. It'll stay here. Aminat Ali working hard on the offensive glass, and that's something that we were watching for in this matchup, Idona, the size of Fordham.
Right, and as we know, Aminat Ali had 12 rebounds against Manhattan, so I'm expecting to see that same aggression here tonight.
Not a lot of size for Georgian court. There's a great dump ball from Davis to Berry. One more to Lee. Couldn't finish. Matilda Flood will let it fly from deep. Rebounded by Westbrook. Kalibo transition 3.
Great rebound from Berry.
Flood will hoist another. Too strong.
Looks like Kalibo's injured. May have collided there.
Holding what I believe is her nose. It's going to be an injury timeout as Safi Kalibo gets attended to on the Georgian court sideline. The lead remains 26-7 for Fordham, and we'll step aside. The Rams are rolling at home.
At some point, we all learn the value of money, the promise it holds, the good it can do, the security it can provide. At Ridgewood, we want to help you to continue to learn with short online courses covering key financial skills.
The course about how to retire early. Total winner. Wow.
Check out our free courses at ridgewoodbank.com.
One more.
One more.
One more, please.
One more, guys, one more. Set, up.
Hey, kid. Yeah, we'll take one more.
Whoa, one more.
Wow!
Step into the world of Atlantic 10 basketball. Witness the nation's finest women athletes rise to greatness under the brightest lights. Feel the rush of adrenaline. Embrace the thrill of competition. Here, you'll find champions on the court and winners in the classroom, embodying what it means to be a true student athlete. Experience A10 women's basketball, where passion meets excellence.
See that thing John Morant has? That's a hypervolt. That thing he uses to warm up and stay loose before he throws it down. That thing Tony Finau uses on course between shots. Ooh, that's money. That thing Robin and I use before and after we're on the bike so we can ride harder tomorrow. That thing Erlen Haaland uses before smashing it into the back of the net. That thing that's for everyone. The Hypervolt from Hyper Ice. Give your body the daily relief it's been asking for.
There's a great look at Fordham head coach Bridgette Mitchell, who's in her debut season with the Rams, coming to the Bronx via Northeastern, where last season she was named CAA Coach of the Year. She piloted a phenomenal season at Northeastern. Idona, they were picked to finish towards the bottom of the conference standings. They ended up winning a share of the regular season title in the CAA.
Yeah, and Coach Mitchell loves those challenges, and something she talked to me about is when you see her team, she wants you to see the passion, and she says stay ready so you don't have to get ready, and that's what we're seeing from Fordham tonight.
Jacobs hits a three to stop the bleeding for Georgia Court. They are up to double figures. It's a 16-point lead for Georgian Court. You mentioned a lot of new faces on this Fordham side. It won't be easy for Coach Mitchell to come in year one, have a ton of success competing in a conference as competitive as the A-10, but the resume certainly speaks for itself. She was a former standout at Duke, went to an Elite Eight with the Blue Devils. She's a Jersey girl as well. She was a McDonald's All-American in high school, was named New Jersey Gatorade Player of the Year back in her playing days. And just talking to her, Idona, she really brings the energy, doesn't she?
She does, and she's a proven winner. She showed just as at Northeastern how she can turn programs around as well.
Had coaching stints at Pittsburgh, JMU, Siena as well. Great head coaching matchup we've got going on tonight. Jacobs can't hit the pull-up jumper. Davis, last touch by Lee.
Something I love about Fordham's offense is even Coach Mitchell has mentioned this. In their first 8 seconds, they're looking to push the ball and the pace. The next 12 are all free-flowing. She says she doesn't like to put her players in a box because she wants them to read and react off of the defense.
Sniski, no. Wesper secures the rebound. That's off the mark from Smedley. Davis corrals another rebound. Pass was tipped. Mahaney secured it and dumps it off to Lee, who finishes at the rim.
What a great find by Davis. And as we can see, the middle is open. So if Fordham continues to get the ball in the middle, they're going to be successful.
Wesper from the corner. Edwards with the rebound and cleans it up.
Edwards is the type of player that is looking to score when she is in.
Played just 8 minutes last time out against Kutztown. Getting some early action in this first half. Lee to Berry. Off the backboard, no, but her own follow and she got fouled.
I love the follow through from her own shot. And look, Grant, there's a misconception sometimes that just because you're tall, you should be getting rebounds. Sometimes we see that from shorter players. Rebounding takes grit and heart.
Berry again with some nice work for Fordham off of the bench in this first half. Nails the first foul shot. Lee gets a breather on the bench. Miranda Nyborg comes back on. It's Nyborg, Mahaney, Davis, McGurk, and Berry out there for the Rams. McCargo to Snisky through the lane. Draws the foul on Nyborg.
Georgian court is going to have to keep attacking here and to draw as many fouls as they can.
Snisky to the line for the first time tonight and for the first time this season. Sophomore from Pennsylvania. Makes the first. And, you know, we mentioned the players unavailable for Fordham. Taylor Donaldson is still out. No Kayla Harris either. But Georgian Court also dealing with some injuries in their own right. They're without Erica Espajo, their top scoring option, as well as Imani Gillette, who really brings some size for them.
Yeah, and that's what they're missing right now, and it's evident.
Rose Nelson has checked in for Fordham, and she turns it over. Jacobs to Snisky, who has a size advantage on Davis. She could not take advantage. Mahaney, quick trigger. Well short. McCargo in attack mode, off the glass.
That is a great drive by McCargo, initiating the contact on that shot.
And it's back to a 13-point game. McCargo has 5 points to lead the Lions. Davis will fire, straightaway three. It rattles out. And McGurk called for the reach-in. Take another look at this last McCargo bucket.
What a tough shot there.
Jacobs, tough finish.
Over two defenders, too.
And a timeout called by Fordham. It's a 29-18 lead, and Georgian Court starting to gain a little bit of momentum here, Adona.
Yeah, and I think Fordham is getting a little comfortable. As we can see, Coach Mitchell calls that timeout to settle everyone down. You know, just because you're up in the beginning by so much, you can't allow little mistakes to get away.
It's a 6-0 run for the Lions over the last 2 minutes of game time. Nice job battling back by Georgian Court. Again, are a Division II team. They play in the CACC. But one thing that their head coach, Jazz Parazic, made clear to us, Sedona, was that they enjoy moments like these, quote-unquote, punching above their weight and playing Division I teams early on in their season to prepare them for their conference schedule down the road.
Right, and she also mentioned they love competing against Division I schools because, one, it's a great experience, and two, to be the best, you have to play the best.
McGurk drills a three. Edwards didn't have the answer. Davis surging ahead to Nelson. Davis collects. McGurk has another.
One thing we've been seeing are a lot of touches. They are moving the rock.
Davis had the offensive rebound and then gets the assist on that McGurk three. Back-to-back tray balls from Mandy McGurk, who was just 2 of 10 from beyond the arc coming into tonight. McCargo gets that one to drop.
It looks like McCargo is putting the team on her back a little bit right now. She realizes they need some scoring from her.
Mandy McGurk for Fordham did not attempt a three against Manhattan. She's 3 of 4 from deep tonight, and they're trying to find her again. But that's an excellent feed from Davis to Nyborg.
Great find from Davis there. Georgian court is going to have to drop quicker on those post passes.
Rams doing well to find those seams in the Georgian court zone defense. McCargo lost her footing, kept it alive. Davis dives on the floor, secures the steal. McGurk pull-up jumper. She can't miss right now.
With confidence, I will say that.
15 points for McGurk to lead all scorers. The lead is back up to 19 for Fordham. And Coach Parazic takes a timeout.
Let's take a look at these hustle plays here. It's all about the little things. I love Davis's hustle on the floor. She finds a McGurk, and boom.
McGurk in rhythm. She's got 15, and that is a new Fordham career high for McGurk. Again, who's spending her grad season here in the Bronx by way of Penn. And Coach Mitchell mentioned that even though it's year 1 for McGurk here at Fordham, she's become one of the main voices on this roster.
Yeah, and she's a transfer from UPenn, and something that is hard to teach is experience. You can't teach experience, so she's able to bring that experience coming from UPenn and have that high IQ on the floor.
She's done a nice job helping the freshmen along like Mahaney and Maya Giles-Jones, who unfortunately has been lost for the season with a knee injury, but would have gotten minutes this season for Coach Mitchell. How about that knockdown jumper from McCargo with Nyborg right in her grill? And then Nyborg has the answer on the other end.
Nyborg has great touch around the rim. She's able to read her defense great.
Kalibo is back on the floor, which is a good sign for the Lions. She airballed that jumper, though. Gets it back. Driving inside, she's denied by Nelson. Final 45 seconds of the first half. The Rams looking to build on their lead. It's been a dominant effort from Fordham here in these opening 20 minutes. Thanks in large part to Mandy McGurk, who has it now. McGurk off the dribble. No. Kalibo. McCargo has it. She's the hot hand. She's got 9 points. Forces a double team, and they turn it over. 3 seconds. McGurk with 1 second has to launch in that first half, but has those 7 assists. She is the team leader for Fordham in assists thus far this season.
And she's not overdoing it. You know, if the shot is not there for her, she's not going to take it. She'll find the open teammate.
And we are underway in this second half. Kayla Berry, count it, and 1.
I love how aggressive Kayla Berry is. Let's take a look here. She goes all the way. Love it.
And she is now playing with some confidence after, again, really She played less than 5 minutes total in her freshman season last year. Completes the three-point play. Played just 5 minutes in the season opener against Adelphi, and that was her only action of this season prior to a really nice 5.5 rebound performance last time out against Manhattan. A whistle comes in here as Fordham continues to pester Georgian court with the full court pressure.
We talk about hustle plays. Let's take a look at that. Taya Davis putting her body on the line.
She has been all over the floor tonight. Wins possession back to the Rams. Turnovers had been a bit of an issue for Davis throughout the past couple of games, but not tonight, as there's a nice move inside from Matilda Flood.
Great read by Matilda Flood. She drops her shoulder and goes up for that shot.
She's one of the members of the old guard for Fordham who chose to stay here in the Bronx and build with Coach Mitchell. As you mentioned, a ton of new faces here for Fordham this season. Little fadeaway jumper from Snisky is true.
That was nice.
Davis, showtime.
Opposite arm, opposite leg. What a nice layup.
Showing off her scoring ability now. It's a 24-point lead for the Rams. McCargo was the hot hand in the first half. She dumps it off to Snisky. Came up short on her three attempt. Berry looking for Flood. Whistle came in, but no foul. It's just possession of Fordham.
We talked a little bit about Kayla Berry. You know, this is a great game for her to kind of build that confidence that you necessarily didn't get to do last year. And she's getting those opportunities, which is great for her.
She's got 5 points and 4 rebounds in 10 minutes of work tonight. And Georgian court, they are in man-to-man defense, as we speculated, to start this second half. Flood well short. Fordham again with the offensive rebound. Flood gets it back, scoops it up and in. Kalibo quickly the other way. Rebound secured by Lee. Davis carving her way through and finishing through the contact.
Davis and one. I love her aggression. I love it.
What a performance Taya Davis is having right now, taking it right to the defense and drawing the foul against Jacobs. Tough finish. She's got all 3 of those. The junior Illinois native. And it's her first season at the Division I level. Mentioned her coming to the Bronx from Garden City Community College, and now Kalibo connects on a 3.
And something she talked to me about was transferring from a junior college has been a big adjustment for her. You know, at the junior college level, you're one of the best on the team, and now you're coming to a team where everyone is great and everyone is working hard. So she said it's been an adjustment of trying to find ways to separate herself.
Lee, too much size.
That's something we talked about earlier from Lee. She's going to back her defender down every time.
She's now up to 8 points to go along with 4 rebounds. Davis had the steal, but was out of bounds.
Let's take a look at this. She sees 2 defenders, but she's still able to go up so strong because of her physical strength.
Berry steps off. Miranda Nyborg comes on for Fordham. And Marta Aguilera is on the floor for the Lions in place of Snisky. As well as Jasenia Edwards, who has it now. She feeds McCargo. And I think Davis is going to get called for the foul here. Still no Amy Hayford for Fordham, who played just 5 minutes in the first quarter and picked up 2 fouls. But Fordham has done a much better job this time around finding their rhythm offensively without Hayford on the floor, who was also in foul trouble against Manhattan. Aguilera dribbled it off her foot. Davis brought it Fordham's way, and now a foul against the Lions.
Let's take a look here. What I love in this possession is Davis realizes her player is not a shooter, so she digs in, causing that turnover.
And she has filled up the stat sheet so far tonight. 7 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 steals for Taya Davis. Lee with a great steal, and Flood had the finish, but a whistle came in prior, and it was too great of a steal, perhaps. Lee was called for the offensive foul.
Was a great read, though.
It's a 28-point lead for Fordham. 6:15 to go in the third quarter. McCargo ran into some trouble. Gets it back, pulls up, blocked by Flood. Bodies on the floor, and jump ball possession will stay with the Lions.
We can see Georgian court trying to utilize the inside-out game. But what I love to see more is a little bit more passing from them. As we can see here, a block.
And that is Matilda Flood's calling card. She's the defensive stopper on this Fordham team.
And she owns that role.
Really nice cut, and the foul drawn by Smedley.
Great cut by Smedley there. On, for Fordham, they got to communicate a little bit better on that mismatch.
Carissa Smedley, freshman from Newton, Pennsylvania. These are her first foul shots of the season. Averaging just under 5 points and 5 rebounds per game on 58% shooting. Coming into tonight is Smedley. She's 0 for 2 from the field thus far, but is now 2 of 2 from the foul line. Fordham wasting no time. Nyborg, the bouncer inside. Flood can't finish.
Great find by Nyborg there.
And then Flood was called for the foul, trying to chase down her own rebound. Edwards drew it for Georgian court. McCargo takes a seat on the bench, and this is the first game action for Samantha Jones, number 2 in blue. Kalibo drives baseline. Nice hands from McGurk. She gets it back, straightaway 3. And that's the first one that looked off from her hand tonight. Jones, her first shot attempt. Off the back iron. Smedley can't clean it up. And neither can Jones.
Fordham's going to have to box out Smedley. She is known for offensive rebound. That's what she does really well.
Nyborg backs down Smedley. Flood made a nice cut, but lost it. Now she wins it back. And the Rams will reset. Mahaney in attack mode, got fouled.
I love the way Mahaney is able to go downhill there. strong and aggressive. Let's take a look. To the right side, she goes all the way and gets fouled.
And that will take us to a break. The Rams continue to roll in their home building. They're up 26 with 4:30 to go in the third. There's a great look at Georgian Court's head coach, Jasmina Parazic, or Coach Jazz, as she's more oftenly referred to as. And we mentioned it off the top of the broadcast as Cassie Mahaney's going to shoot some free throws for Fordham. But Coach Jazz in her 10th season at Georgian Court, and she's really changed the complexion of this program. Back in 2018 and 19, she led the Lions to their first postseason appearance in 16 years. And since then, they've gone to the postseason in 4 of the last 5 seasons, including 3 in a row. We detailed her playing career, 3-time ACC champ at Maryland, her jerseys in the rafters. She played with the Yugoslavian national team. She played with the New York Liberty in the WNBA, and she's a member of the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. She was inducted in 2013. I mean, the resume speaks for itself, Idona.
I mean, yeah, she has a very impressive resume, and Coach Jazz talked to us about freshmanitis, about this team. And she's like, you know what, we're still trying to find our place and find the chemistry on our team. And she's not too worried about that this early in the season because those things will come.
And you see these freshmen, they've taken it to Fordham a bit. I mean, it's a challenge stepping up to the Division I level, playing a team like Fordham on the road. And they've been competing, even though they got down early, this team has been fighting throughout the rest of this game.
Right, and you don't see any giving up here, which is great. You want to keep learning from these opportunities if you're Georgian Court.
It's a turnover for Fordham. They've played a much cleaner game than they had as of late. But that is turnover number 8 for the Rams. 15 turnovers for Georgian Court. The lead is 26 And that's turnover number 16 off the leg of Jones. Nice defense from Jones. Edwards surging ahead, and she puts it in.
And that's the pace we were talking about earlier. I want to see more of that from Georgian court.
And how about that? The Rams right back.
Got to get back on defense.
Smedley drives baseline. Kick out Jones. Davis got a piece, but Kalibo off the front rim. Jones had the rebound, and then Mahaney walked with it.
We can see Kalibo trying to attack the basket here more, and that's something she is really good at, is attacking the rim.
Smedley through the contact, and that's the second time we've seen her got free off a baseline out of bounds play. Georgian court back in his own defense. Under 3 minutes to go in this third quarter. Nyborg to Nelson, kick out Mahaney. Rebounded by Smedley. Edwards trying to find Snisky, put too much on it.
We've seen a lot of up and down here so far.
And we've talked about it. That's another product of Georgian court. They're playing their style, pushing the pace there, but need to be a bit more composed and organized. Edwards just threw it over Snisky and everyone's head. Nyborg, off-balance finish.
What a great move by Nyborg. I love her touch around the rim. She's able to drop down, get her defender, and go up to the basket.
Miranda Nyborg, who missed all of last season with an injury. She had a span of over 500 days where she wasn't on the court.
And I talked to her about that injury a little bit, and I said, what was it like coming back from that, and how have you been able to adjust this year? And she was like, you know what, I focused really getting in shape. When she came to this season, she wanted to make sure she was in great shape and that the rest would just come to her.
8 points and 2 rebounds now for Miranda Nyborg, who had a medical scare last season. Smedley goes to the line. Misses the first, but Miranda Nyborg, she thought she just had strep throat last season, but her symptoms kept getting worse, and it was found out she had an abscess in her spine that, if not treated properly, could have led to paralysis. And so she had to have surgery on her back. Thankfully, doctors were able to catch it and perform a great surgery, and here she is. Over a year later, she's not only back healthy, she's back on the court and competing at the Division I level.
Right, and those things are always scary, and I'm glad they were able to catch it.
Davis draws the foul. She has been a key component in Fordham's impressive effort here tonight. 8 points now, 7 rebounds, 7 dimes, and 4 steals. Nelson takes it away.
Great deflection by Nelson.
Davis misses the layup. Smedley open for 3. Rebound to Lee. Final 60 seconds of this third frame. Mahaney. It drops down to Edwards. Snisky has it poked away by Lee. Kick out Kalibo. And now Fordham can hold for the last shot if they want. Nyborg finds Lee. Yep.
Great position there by Lee, and something I'm seeing from Fordham is they're able to cut to the paint easily, and Georgian court has to bump them out better.
Smedley puts it up, CACC, but their head coach, Jazz Parazic, regularly schedules Division I programs during their non-conference slate to prepare them for what's to come in their own conference schedule down the road. And this is a Georgian court team that started 5 freshmen tonight. They graduated 6 seniors last season, and the scoreboard doesn't look pretty right now, Adona, but I think there's no denying the talent they have on this roster.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the scoreboard isn't showing it, but I think there's a lot to learn from this game, and there are a lot of positives to take away from it. And Coach Jazz takes pride in playing those Division I programs. This is going to be a great opportunity for them to take what they've learned and implement it in the in-conference play.
Matilda Flood knocks down a 3 for the Rams. They're up by 32. Kalibo. No. Last touch by Rose Nelson. And I think the lead for Fordham is also a result of how well they've been playing. This is their best shooting performance of the season statistically. They're shooting 51% from the floor, 47% from 3. They've got 11 steals as a team. Edwards' turnaround touch shot is off. Flood, short, gets her own rebound and puts it in.
That's a great skip pass there, and Flood just following her shot.
Back-to-back buckets for Matilda Flood makes it a 69-35 game. Wesper to Jacobs, right into the chest of Flood, who's called for the block.
Let's take a look here. Jacobs going right at her and finding a way to get that shot off.
Flood not happy with the call. I think she had a case for a charge there, but referee thought otherwise. Sends Jacobs to the line. Her first foul shot attempts of the evening and on the season as well. Freshman from Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Played under 7 minutes per game coming into tonight, but 18 minutes of action right now. Fordham wasting no time, and now Edwards is called for the foul on Nyborg, and that's a tall task for the 5'9" Edwards to be defending Nyborg in the post.
When you have a post like that on you, you got to get in front of her and not give it an easy chance for the ball to go into the post there, especially as a smaller guard.
Davis tried a wraparound bounce pass. The Cargo took it away. Wesper will go to the line.
Let's take a look at Wesper. Something Coach Jazz mentioned to both of us is she's going to shock people. And I can't wait to see how she does it in conference play.
Doesn't have a ton of size, listed at 5'4", but is a gritty player, works hard. Coach Jazz said that when she was a player, she would not have liked to play against a player like Wesper, who can be a pest on the defensive end.
Especially a shorter guard. It can be annoying to play against.
McCargo with an acrobatic shot, way off the mark. Davis darting ahead. Nyborg in the high post. Screens for Mahaney with the left hand, too strong. Rebound battled for, and Mahaney comes away with it. Now Davis into the lane.
Davis makes it look so easy going to the basket.
And she's now into double figures. Jacobs can't hit. Wesper comes away with it. Now Jacobs works inside. McCargo rebounded by Nyborg. Berry, 18-footer, got the roll.
You can see Berry gaining that confidence to take those type of shots.
Well-balanced scoring attack from this Fordham offense right now. 4 Rams in double figures, and then you've got Matilda Flood with 9, Nyborg with 8, Berry with 7. McGurk still leads with 15. She had all 15 in the first half. Aminat Ali with 10, Taya Davis with 10, and the freshman Cassidy Mahaney has 11 points. Lebo off the bounce, finds Wesper in the corner. Long rebound to Mahaney. Ahead of everyone. Berry cleans it up.
Good trail by Berry there. Whenever one of your teammates is going on a fast break, you want to make sure you are there in case of a miss.
And the lead is 40 for Fordham. They are taking care of business here at home, where they are 2-1 on the season. 2-2 overall as Wesper rims out of an N1 opportunity. She'll go to the line. Bit of a roller coaster start for Fordham this season, though, Adona. They had the big win against Adelphi to start the year, then a really close, gritty win against Albany. Then they go on the road against a Miami team that went to the Elite Eight last year, a big loss. Then more of a reasonable loss against Manhattan, and now a blowout win in their favor.
And that's what out of conference is all about. You play these type of teams where it can be a blowout, a close game, or you lose by a lot, but they're all learning opportunities.
Nyborg called for the offensive foul. She's got a big smile on her face.
Davis with a behind-the-back pass.
She's done it all tonight. Really impressive performance from Taya Davis. And again, Fordham doing this without Taylor Donaldson. And Amy Hayford has also not checked back into the game since the first quarter. Those are the 2 leading scorers for Fordham this season. How about Wesper carving up the Rams defense?
Just getting to the paint.
Davis blows by everyone. Nyborg's runner is off. Edwards to Wesper. Nyborg hauls it in. Rapid pace right now. Mahaney is off. That was a long 2 attempt.
Both teams really pushing the ball here.
Kalibo to Edwards. Strong finish. Count it.
Great job by Kalibo getting to the paint, stopping off of 2 feet and making that pass.
And that will send us to a break. Fordham is up big at home, but Jasenia Edwards will go to the line with a chance for three. Jasenia Edwards is at the line for Georgian Court, who trail by 36 with 4:56 to play in the fourth quarter. See the numbers for Edwards tonight. 6 points, 5 boards, also has a block. No player in double figures for GCU tonight. Their leading scorer is Niall McCargo, who has 9. Kayla Berry misses a layup. Georgian Court shooting just 29% from the field. Smedley rims out of her layup, and they're 3 of 19 from beyond the arc. That's 16%. So Fordham's defense getting the job done here at home.
And look, we talked about the positives of Georgian Court. I can imagine these shots will start falling for them.
Nyborg is now into double figures herself. 10 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. 4 players in double digits for Fordham. A great bounce back offensive performance after they scored just 44 points in the loss here at home to Manhattan last Thursday. They've exploded for 77, and there's still 3.5 minutes to play. Mahaney, long 2, buckets.
You know, something we've been seeing from Fordham are role players stepping up. Coach Mitchell told the team to step up within their role. No one needs to step out of what they usually do.
Kalibo is up top with Jacobs. Backdoor cut. Westber. Berry was all over it. Ahead to McGurk. And she settles it. Nelson to Berry. She got fouled. And a chance to reach the 80-point plateau for the first time this season for the Rams. They are up by 40, and they've gotten contributions from just about everyone tonight. Rose Nelson is the only Fordham Ram who stepped on the floor that hasn't scored a basket, as Aminat Ali comes back on in place of Miranda Nyborg. Fordham, 50% from the field, 42% from 3, and 13 of 16 from the foul line. It doesn't get much better than that as Jacobs gets the N1.
Great backdoor cut by Jacobs there.
Jacobs now with 8 points for Georgian Court. She's the second leading scorer in this game. Played just 20 minutes total through the opening 3 games of the season for the Lions. She's played 24 minutes tonight. Again, this Lions team dealing with some injuries. Nelson, a nice cut. And now every Ram that has gotten game action has scored a point tonight.
Great cut, even better pass.
Fordham has done a really nice job stymieing Georgian Court's offensive attack, and one of the main reasons is Safi Kalibo hasn't been able to get going. McGurk was the main offensive catalyst in the first half, now getting it done on the defensive end. That's steal number 2. Nelson, kick out, McGurk, Air ball. It'll go to the Lions.
And Georgian Court has been a team that scores 60 points per game, which is obviously what we haven't seen here tonight. But, you know, this is a big learning point from them.
And there will be no time to waste for Georgian Court. They are playing a game tomorrow. Take a look at both teams' upcoming schedules, but
quick turnaround for sure.
They play the University of the District of Columbia tomorrow. So they will have to learn from this one quickly. Get one game in before the holiday, before they play Lock Haven next Monday.
Before the little break.
Meanwhile, Fordham, they'll play UMass Lowell on Saturday before St. Peter's next Monday. McGurk finds Lee. And Lee gets it to go on the second try. Everything working for Fordham here tonight. It's exactly the type of game you needed after back-to-back losses. They're right back in the win column. An impressive showing from Coach Bridgette Mitchell's team, who again, they are learning about themselves as well. A lot of first-year players here at Fordham, as Edwards with the easy lay-in on the other end.
And this is a great bounce-back game for Fordham, you know, especially not seeing the ball go in the past few games. This is going to push their confidence as well.
And Fordham will likely run out the clock here. They are going to win by a final score of 85-44. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in here tonight live on Yes. Wish everyone a happy holiday, happy Thanksgiving. The Fordham Rams